If you are someone looking to make money on YouTube, then you are in luck because today I have Christina here who's going to share 6 creative ways that she earns side income on her YouTube channel. Her and I are very similar yet very different in the ways that we go about making money. And you guys know, if you've been around my channel for a while, how I make money because I share that very openly. And if you don't know, then you can go ahead to Christina's channel where I'll be sharing my 6 ways that I go about making money on YouTube. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on Christina. So first off, Christina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me here today. I'm definitely really excited about this collaboration. So a little bit more about me. I am based out of New York City currently. So more about my background. So I do have a full-time corporate job. I work in big tech as a headhunter, specifically for creative people, and I've been loving this. But also 2 years ago, I kind of decided to pursue this side hustle journey just because I always wanted to make, additional income online. And I started with my YouTube channel, Christina's Side Hustles. And then I also, got into coaching and selling digital products. And before I start, I think it ties very well with, I feel like a lot of content that, we see on YouTube all the time when people, a lot of people don't like the 9 to 5. I think there's a lot of kind of push for people to like escape the 9 to 5 or, like be your own boss and all these things. And I think all that is really great. I just realized, when I watch all the content, I guess like the philosophy that I follow is that, I don't think there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5, it's just as a stable thing. And the reason why is because actually my parents were both entrepreneurs. So I grew up in the family of entrepreneurs, and I've seen a lot of, the good, the bad, the ugly of it, right? So some years it was really great, some years we would be very, very, fortunate with my parents' income, but there were some years where it was, little things would completely change our situation. So there were a lot of ups and downs. And I think that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to pursue the traditional route. So I did go to college and I did get a stable 9 to 5 job just, as a start. So that's kind of the route that I took, more traditional route.
Yeah, and many of you guys here on my channel know that for me it was actually the opposite. And I'll expand more during my interview on Christina's channel, but both of my parents, they were actually in the 9 to 5. And I actually saw the good, the bad, and the ugly that that brought. So that actually inspired me to be a full-time entrepreneur. And that's part of what I meant in the beginning when her and I are both very different, but very similar.
I thought it was so funny when we both discovered that during one of our previous calls that just like how much that influences your life choices.
Yeah, definitely. A good note for people, like Christina said, like the 9 to 5 isn't a bad thing. Nowadays a lot of people are saying like escape the 9 to 5, escape the rat race. But my advice is that as long as you love what you do, that's really what matters. If it gets you out of bed in the morning and it brings you fulfillment, then by all means.
Yeah, it's actually kind of really funny that you brought this up because, one of my side business, I'm a career coach, and I always teach people that, maybe the reason why you don't like your 9 to 5 is because you haven't found the right opportunity or like the right place for you, just because there are a lot of amazing 9 to 5s these days. Like mine, I say a 9 to 5, but I do work flexible hours and it's fully remote, and I actually really like what I do. So, I feel like this still allows me to do a lot of different things that I really want to do. So a 9 to 5 doesn't have to be like the situation where you chain to your desk from like a certain time to a certain time and you have a boss like looking over your shoulder. Maybe it's just like you joined the wrong company or the wrong situation, but 9 to 5s could be a great way to build wealth.
Yeah, and you get the best of both worlds. So I love that about you. You don't always have to pick between one or the other. I mean, who says you can't do 2 things at once? So that leads us into the 6 ways that you actually go about making money on YouTube. How about let's start off with our differences. So what's the first way that you go about making money on YouTube?
So the first way that I make money, I would say like more in more traditional senses. Recently this year I got monetized on YouTube, which actually has always been, kind of like a dream that I just been like putting back, putting back and thinking like one day it's going to come. But I think like this year it really started taking my channel more seriously. So I have been making money with AdSense. I did start out with pretty small. I think first month I made like $50. And then last month I actually went up all the way to like 300 and something dollars per month. And all of that with less than 3,000 subscribers, which, again, like, it may not seem like a lot of money, but I think just considering the size of my channel, I was actually really happy with that amount. So yeah, that's the first way, AdSense.
So question for you, how long did it take you to monetize?
Oh, well, this is where it gets less glamorous. So I would say like probably almost 2 years. I actually have a whole video like describing my monetization strategy. But I mean, I was definitely one of those people who at the beginning didn't exactly know what they wanted to do with their channel. So like my content was kind of all over it. There was like lifestyle, travel, personal finance, all of those things. I would say like it wasn't really until like maybe a year ago where I really started taking things seriously and decided to kind of build out this side hustle niche content on my channel that I started seeing results. But I would say probably 2 years of just like being inconsistent and not knowing where I wanted to go before I hit 1,000 subscribers.
Right. And we're also similar in that way because when I started my channel, I started with a bunch of different topics. It was kind of inconsistent. And then about a year ago, that's when I niched down and took things seriously. Any tips for anyone who's working really hard to monetize?
I mean, I have a whole bunch, but I would definitely say like, a lot of it is just like basic things. Like I would say like figuring out, I mean, I really don't recommend people honestly like niching down very early on unless you absolutely know what you want to do. It doesn't hurt to kind of try out different things and really see what like floats your boat. I also would say like where I started seeing difference is that, I invested in like slightly better equipment. Like I don't use anything fancy, but, just investing in like the quality camera. And like actually one of the biggest tips I'll give you is just investing in like a decent microphone because the quality of your audio makes a really big difference for the viewers. Then also, exploring different editing techniques. There's just like so many different tips that I can give you, but I would say consistency is going to be the very first one.
Right. Awesome. And I'll link your video down below where you talk about your journey for being monetized for anyone who's interested. Awesome. So that's method number one. So how about method number two that you use?
Yeah, so method number two that I wanted to bring up, because this one is probably like still, I know a lot of YouTubers who do that, but I'd say probably like less common is that I do sell digital products that I talk about. So as a career coach, also as a headhunter, very big part of my day-to-day is looking at people's resumes and giving people resume advice and just, building that brand as like a career coach, like a career expert. So one day I just decided, why not create resume templates that I'll be able to sell on, Etsy and also like advertise on my YouTube channel. I am currently working on creating my Shopify store as well to be able to like, sell on other platforms. So that's been kind of my very passive way of making money.
I like that. And any tips for people who are looking to sell products like that on their channel? Maybe it's like physical products or digital products. Like what's the best method for actually getting your audience to buy?
Yeah. So, I mean, something that I really wish I kind of focused a little bit more at the beginning is like really growing my audience more and building a brand before pitching products because everything gets so much easier once you already have an audience, right? I kind of like started when I like really didn't have anyone on YouTube. I was actually doing most of my sales on LinkedIn because I do have like, pretty good presence there. But I would definitely say, just try to like think of, what you want to sell and build an audience and build a brand behind yourself. Because once you do that, it gets way easier than just, DMing people and be like, do you want to buy my my template?
Right. And I'm sure like you have like a really good call to action. Like you put the link down below, all that so people can easily find it. Awesome. So that's method number two. How about we move on to the final method that makes us different?
Yeah. So this one has been fairly recent, but I would probably say one that I've been like most excited about is brand deals. And I know for some people this may be kind of shocking just because I have still a really small channel. So I think as we speak right now, 2,800 subscribers, but I actually got my very first brand deal when I was at 1,500 subscribers, which, is like not even like anywhere close to being considered like an influencer or even having a presence, but somehow ended up getting my first brand deal. And the way I actually did it is I had some brands reach out to me originally asking me to become the affiliate. So for those of you not familiar with, affiliate marketing, pretty much you talk about people's products, and then once the audience buys the products, you have personal, like certain commission. And I responded to those brands saying like, hey, why don't you actually sponsor this video? Because, it might be a better return investment. I created my own media kit. And I honestly never thought they were going to say yes, but somehow both of the brands that I emailed that day said yes. So that's how I got my first brand deal. So with my niche, a lot of brands that I work with are either like course selling platforms or personality tests, or right now I also am, starting to work with some like financial investment products, which is really exciting. But yeah, you really don't need to have a big channel to start landing brand deals.
Yeah, I love that, because that's a big misconception that people have, that they need thousands of subscribers before they can get a brand deal. All you need is the right strategy, the right mindset, and also the right audience, because that's why those brands actually sponsored you. So that's right.
Yeah, you need to have your own like right personal brand as well. So like, it needs to make sense for brands to want to sponsor you. And usually it's because you're in a certain niche or have a specific audience.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, so did those brands pay you on an affiliate commission, or did they pay you like a fee up front?
So both of them, actually all the brands that I worked with or even agreed to promote, so they would always pay me a flat fee up front. It's nothing big right now, but it's still pretty good fee. So it just depends on like the brand and like the contract, just because some of the brands that I work with just pay me a flat fee and that's pretty much it. But I do have some brands that pay me maybe a slightly lower fee, but I still get all of the affiliate commission from like that video and things like that. So it just depends. It can go both ways, but every time I'm mentioning a brand, it's usually like they would at least pay me a flat fee.
Love that. Love that. So that really leads us into our last three methods. And I know that I said earlier that we both do these to make money. However, we still have very different approaches. So I'm excited to hear about your next three methods. So moving on to method number 4.
About a year, I think like a year and a half ago, I created my very first course. So just again, related to my brand and, my area of expertise, I created a course about interview skills. So I teach people how to perform better on job interviews. And the way that I did it is, again, because I do everything part-time. So I kind of try to like make sure that all of my side hustles are not like super time consuming because, again, I just don't have enough time in the day, I would say. So I didn't exactly want to do my own promotions. And honestly, at the time, I didn't have much of an audience to kind of build my email list or do my own like course promotion. So I decided to place my course on platforms like Udemy, Skillshare, Skill Success, to where, they already have their own audience and their own client list. And I pretty much just use those platforms to promote my own courses, which makes everything super passive, but also, the income that I make from those is like pretty low, I would say, considering I didn't have much of a audience. But again, the plus side is that it is 100% passive.
Love that. Yeah, I'll talk more about my method for making money with course sales on Christina's channel, because it's definitely quite different. But it is so that, there's more than one way to go about something. So it's just a matter of experimenting for one and just seeing what works for you, for your lifestyle and for your niche. So that's awesome.
I definitely recommend checking out, the video on my channel, just because I feel like the way that Ari does it is really interesting as well. I would definitely say, it's more like, it seems like it's less passive, but, definitely higher in revenue. And again, like to your point, it just all depends on like where you are in life and like how, like, I guess, like how much time and effort that you want to put into it, because you do definitely get different results doing the same thing.
Right, exactly. So that leads us into method number 5.
Yep. So method number 5, again, it's something where Ari and I overlap as well, but again, we do it very differently. So both of us, we both do coaching. So the way it's, I guess, like my coaching practice focuses on career coaching. So I either help people to, transition into a different career, or I help people with like resume reviews, I help people with interviews. I pretty much like help people to take that next step in their career. And originally, I would say the model that I followed was very similar to what Ari does. So it's kind of long-term coaching. So you sell like a course coaching package, and go kind of more in depth. So it's like more money upfront, but you also with the client much longer. Eventually, I decided to transition a little bit out just because, once again, I was kind of struggling with managing my time and finding more time in the day. So I transitioned to more like one-on-one, one-time coaching. So I would sell like, one-time, I guess, like consultation, which, I can charge people up to like $300, but it's just going to be like one session. And I just work on their resumes. I give them feedback on their portfolios and LinkedIn and things like that. And it's pretty much like one and done. And if my clients want to book me again in the future for another short-term consultation, they can. But I just felt like it worked a little bit better with, the time that I had on my hands.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it was really hard with the YouTube channel as well, because you also have to make content.
Yeah, it was taking a lot out of me.
Yeah, so that's a good point I want to make, because, as YouTube entrepreneurs, you don't want to be working like a dog, like 80 plus hours a week. You want to find creative ways to actually free up your time, but also while making more money. So it's not necessarily about working harder, it's about working smarter. And with the way you modify things, definitely that's working smarter. So sometimes you have to think of outside the box. You got to get creative, and there's always a way if you want to do something, but yeah, you have to think outside the box a bit. But moving on to our last method for making money, I know you touched on this one a little bit when you were talking about brand deals, but can you expand a little bit more on number 6?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that we're kind of wrapping up with this one, just because I, kind of wanted to make a point, and something that you just touched on like a second ago is one thing that I did realize, I would say, like in the middle of my, journey, is that I was creating all of these great ways to make money. And, I was finally like seeing the income I always wanted. The problem is that I felt like I was chained to my desk from like early morning to like late at night. Like I would still be working sometimes at like 9 and 10. And I remember it would get to the point where I would tell my husband, like, don't talk to me, I'm working. And we would literally be like in the same apartment all day. And like he wouldn't even be allowed to talk to me. And I was like, okay, no, this is not how it's supposed to go. Like I didn't just get into this like side hustle business, or like I didn't go into this financial journey just so that I can work even more and have less time to enjoy my money. And like on weekends, I would be so tired, I wouldn't even want to travel or go anywhere. And I just realized like this was actually counterproductive and wasn't the right way to go about it. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I reduced my coaching, sessions, or like the coaching caseload, is because I actually wanted to have more time to, be present for my family, like be more present in my marriage, and like just kind of like be able to enjoy life. And that's where I really decided that I wanted to invest more time into building out passive streams of income, because trust me, there's nothing better, and I'm sure you can relate, there's nothing better than waking up in the morning and like looking at your phone and like, oh, I made some sales. Like I literally made money while I was asleep. And that's where I kind of really started getting to affiliate marketing. So I realized that, I don't necessarily always have to sell my own products, because, those take time to create and like promote, but I can also just promote other people's products that already exist there. And, all I need to do is make a video mentioning that product, or, showcase something on my website, and then start making money with affiliate marketing. So, I definitely would say like when I first started out, I wasn't seeing much money from affiliate marketing, which again, when you are a small channel, you have like small presence, small audience, that's always how it's going to go. But, I started to have months where I would make close to $1,000 in affiliate marketing, all depending on the product and things like that. So that's definitely been a really, cool and very, very passive way to make money.
So what kind of products, just really quickly, do you promote on your channel?
Yeah, so I've promoted anything from, the personality test, which is also like, the brand that I worked with. And then I would say like my most successful one has been my Fundrise videos, which Fundrise is an investment platform. So for all the referrals I've been getting, some commission or, like cash towards my portfolio. So that's been really cool. I've promoted also different like apps that I use, like different software that I use. And I know this is where we kind of do it a little bit differently. So I actually shared a really cool tip with me that I didn't really like realize before. If you want to mention that, the subscription model.
Yeah. I'll expand more on that in
Mhm.
the video on your channel, but in a nutshell, I like to promote products and services that are on a subscription base. So something that
Mhm.
people pay X dollars a month for, because when you do that, then you get recurring revenue as long as they stay subscribed. So there's a number of platforms that I promote that for. And so I always know, unless they cancel, I always know that on X date of each month, I will get X percentage of the commission. And so it's growing. Like I'm constantly getting new affiliates. So, I'm getting to a point where hopefully all of my living expenses will be paid off just by my affiliate links. So let's say something happened to me where, I got sick or something. Well, I know I have income still coming in, and I'll talk more about that on Christina's channel. But just to wrap,
That's the dream. That's the
yeah,
dream.
yeah, literally, that's the dream. But just to wrap this up, Christina, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the products and services that you provide? Because I'm going
Mhm.
to link those down below.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if anybody is interested in, making a career switch or like getting into, a different industry, so I do career coaching. In all transparency, I mostly specialize in the creative industry. So if you are a designer, artist, copywriter, art director, anything like that, I can definitely have a consultation with you and see how I can help you with your future goals. If you are just interested, if you're not in the creative field and you're interested in performing better on your job interview, if you have something coming up, I do have a mini course that can really help you to get there. And then lastly, if you just want to have a little resume facelift, I do sell resume templates as well. So you can definitely check this out on my channel and on my website, which is coachchristinanm.com.
Awesome. I will link all of that down below along with your social media. And be sure to go over to Christina's channel because I'm going to be sharing the 6 methods that I use to make money on my channel. So go check it out.